Hey everyone, so it's been a little while since, I think it's been a little while since I updated everyone about the seedlings I planted into the ground. So I was going to show you guys an update right now, show you guys how everything's doing. First off, I'm going to show you the ones that is in full sun and see how it's been doing. So this is two pickering seedlings. I planted them right next to each other. And these probably grew the best. So they're in full sun. To be honest, a lot of the ones that have in full sun has not done as well as the one that was as the ones that's been getting shade in the afternoon. But the pickering one's been doing really well. I'm not sure it's because it's been getting a bit of shade from this kind of large rosemary plant right here that kind of shades it from, you know, a bit of the afternoon sun. So I think that kind of helps. So this is the pickering. I planted it out. They flushed a couple times this year, so it's looking pretty good. Hopefully it survives this winter, So that's pickering. So these are pickering seedlings. So these right here are cherry seedlings. This one's been doing pretty nice. This one's been a bit yellow. Look like it's about to flush another growth. But of course, all these ones I put in the ground, they haven't grown as well as the ones I kept in pots or the one that has been getting a bit of the partial shade. So these are two cherry seedlings right here. These right here are two lemon zest seedlings. These actually have done the worst. A lot of kind of yellowing on the leaves, so we'll see. I try to shade it a bit with kind of like a little bit of this, but I don't think it helped much. So these lemon zest seedlings, I thought they were gonna really kind of just take off a bit more faster than the other ones, but they've been a bit slower, a bit of the yellowing. So I'm definitely sure that at least this is getting impacted a bit more by the sun on this one. This one's a little bit more open. So these are lemon zest seedlings. Good thing is the trunk is nice and old and brown, so I think it's going to be fine making it through winter. So lemon zest seedlings. There's some more seedlings that I planted in the. So these went in the ground, but this section of the yard gets a bit more shade. Afternoon shade, so that kind of protects it from like a lot of the intense sun. The only thing about this area right here, I'm going to show you guys, this area gets probably the most cold. So there's a bit of frost that happens like on the ground during winter. It's like very low-lying frost, but it's like you see the frost on the grass and everything. So I planted quite a few of them into the grounds. And these are guava seedlings, guava Saint Alone. I think they have done the best so far. They've been the most vigorous, and the polyembryonic, and they usually have lots of different stems and plants coming out of it, but they're still vigorous despite being polyembryonic. So we'll see if these do well in winter. That's the only thing I have concerns about is some of these seedlings. Is that they might be growing really well, but then once it kind of hits winter, then maybe they don't really recuperate after winter, or they just don't handle the winter well. So guava Saint Alone has been like the most vigorous. Some of the most vigorous seedlings I grew. It could be potentially a great rootstock, along with producing excellent fruit. So this one is that's like three stems of like from polyembryonic seedling. So I'm gonna go show you guys everything that's in the ground first that I planted out this spring, all the seedlings I put in the ground, and then maybe we'll take a look at some of the ones in the pots. Here's some more. So this one is, I think this should be a sweet tart. Let me just verify that. Nope, this one's actually a lemon zest. So this is a lemon zest right here, planted in the ground, and it looks really nice, like more greener, nicer leaves than the one I had out in the open. So this is lemon zest seedling. But just about, I think there's two plants that came out of the embryos. So lemon zest seedling right here. Here's another lemon zest seedling. Again, looking pretty nice and green, about to flush. Looking better than the one that is in full sun. And I told you guys several times about seedlings in full sun, that in my opinion, afternoon shade is the best for seedlings. You get a lot more growth, a lot more vertical growth, a lot more healthier leaves, versus something that's in full sun. So what I'm showing you right now is a section where it gets afternoon sun. So this is lemon zest. Here's like another one, and I think this one has two here. Definitely lemon zest right here. Okay. Here's a sweet tart. So this one has like what? One, two, three branches coming out. Doing the leaf test on this, I couldn't really tell which one is the pollinated, which one isn't the pollinated. But if I was to guess, I was kind of look at this right here. Look at this right here. These look the same. This look kind of the same. And then you got kind of this funky kind of one with the more narrow leaves and more, kind of like a bit more narrow leaves and like a bit more different coloring on it. So this could be the pollinated one, but it's just a guess. Not a very great guess too. So, sweet tart seedlings. Let's see how the trunks are looking. Yeah, looking pretty good. See how it does this winter. So right here is a honeykiss seedling. So honeykiss is polyembryonic. So you got two seedlings here. Two stems coming out. And a few honeykiss I put in the ground, they've been doing really well. So here's the larger of the two, and this one's the smaller. And again, if I was gonna do a wild guess, I would think the smaller growing one is the clone, just because of the growth habit of honeykiss. I've seen it, versus this one. But again, I can't tell on these with the leaf test. So, but honeykiss kind of has this nice kind of symmetrical. It's kind of even, the leaf kind of flat. It's like a pretty leaf, and then this one has like kind of just weird. Some of the leaf is distorted, not really that great of shape. It's kind of big. It's just not as pretty as a leaf. So that might be my guess. But again, these are the ones I could not tell from the leaf test. From the leaf test to tell the smell, so it's a guess. Okay, here is another guava Saint Alone. Look at this, how large the leaves on this is. Here's another one of it. And again, what I'm showing you guys right now are seedlings I planted in the ground. And you guys can kind of go back to the video and see how small some of them were when I first planted out in the ground. So let's see. This one has quite a few trunks. I think like 7 or 8 trunks like this. There's 2 that's pretty vigorous, pretty big leaves. So guava, pretty vigorous growth. Here's a sweet tart right here. Sweet tart right here. Looking pretty good. This one didn't have too many trunks. I think probably only 3 trunks that came out. Sweet tart. And I remember, at least on this one, I believe this one had a classic smell to it. This one. And then the rest kind of smells like sweet tart. So, let's see. The leaves are even a little bit unusual too. A little bit more narrower. And the veins isn't as pronounced. Let's see how it goes. Here's another honey kiss, and this one's doing really well. Look at this. This is a nice growing one. Has like 2 trunks, at least 2 trunks on here. So my guess would be this taller one would be the clone, just because I've noticed with the honeycusp leaves, it's like really kind of very symmetrical and like very kind of pretty looking leaves. So, and then you got something like this where it's not as pretty, where it's kind of like long and lanky and wavy, you know. So that would be my guess on, at least on this honeycusp versus the other one. But the other one, I was kind of sure the taller one was the pollinated embryo, came from the pollinated one. This one, I think the shorter one is the pollinated embryo. But again, big guess. These I was never able to distinguish any of these from by the leaf test, you know. So try to see if I can get a picture of the trunk. Okay. And again, here's a toffle that I had planted close by to it. So let's see, it's getting some protection from each other. Okay, this one is a coconut cream, and this one is grown really well. I think there's like two. There's another smaller growth right there, but this one's the bigger one. And this one's the coconut. No, I'm sorry. This one's a cotton candy seedling. Cotton candy seedling right here. Again, I have all these pots surrounding it. This isn't really a true kind of rootstock test or anything like that. I'm just pretty much growing them up, and have a lot of pots around the seedlings, kind of to help it out through winter too, you know. So it's just kind of not a true rootstock test. You know, these ain't being grown isolated by themselves. They're being grown with a lot of kind of protection, hopefully, from the pots, from the all the plants kind of next to it, all the other seedlings next to it. You know? Oh, and since I'm here, I'm going to show you guys an interesting potted one. For the longest time, I thought this was just a diseased. I just thought this was a diseased mango seedling. It was just looking so funky ever since it was growing out, and I was like, "What is it, sick or anything like that?" But it's been growing well, so it's definitely not sick. You know, it's definitely not sick. It's not the fastest grower, but it's not the slowest grower. And this is a variegated Maha. Excuse me, a variegated Maha Chanuk seedling. Interesting variegation. It's more like on the yellow side, and it's kind of spotchy. It's not, it's not as pretty as some other variegated plants, you know, but it's definitely variegated. So very interesting. I'm sure this is only gonna slow down the tree a bit more in California. I'm sure if this was something in say Florida or the tropics, a variegated Maha like this would be kind of fast growing, vigorous, and everything like this. But again, I'm in California. Everything's already slow enough. I'm sure this variegation is not gonna help. We're very interested. Let me know what you guys think. I've seen a few variegated mangoes around, especially out in Florida, but this is the first time I've seen one from my seedlings. So very cool. This is the only one out of hundreds and hundreds of seedlings that grew out of mangoes. Alright, so this is an M4 seedling. This one's been in the ground in spring. It has not been the fastest growing, but it's been growing steadily, you know. This is M4 right here. This right here is I believe this is a coconut cream. Yeah, so this one's a coconut cream right here. Also hasn't grown out that vigorously, but M4. Okay, there's 2 plants on it. And here's like an example of a potted M4 plant I got right here. You know, so this one's really nice, 3 excellent size trunk right here. I'll probably end up putting this in the ground next year, just because it's been doing so nicely in a pot, and I think by next year it will probably have to, you know, either kind of go in the ground or something for me to kind of keep the growth rate for it going. So very nice M4 right here. And here's another coconut cream seedling. Again, it hasn't been growing that fast, the coconut cream, so let's see. All these seedlings I put in the ground, I really hope that they survive this winter. You know, some of them, when I put it in, they felt like they were a bit too small, but you know, I wanted to put it in so I could start testing out the seedlings. But for this year, I'm putting that much amount in. I plan to put more seedlings in the ground next year too, especially some of the ones I had in a pot that's really grown really nicely. So this is so far just my experiment with it. So I got lots of seedlings, testing it out, and we'll see what happens. You know, we'll see how this winter goes. Hopefully it's gonna be a mild winter like the one we just had, nothing too crazy, and then hopefully they all survive, you know. So that's why I still have some in pots versus in ground, in case the in ground one kind of suffers and don't make it through the winter. I have some more in pots that has spent like an extra year in it pot, and then I could put that in the ground again next year. All right, guys, well, this is a update on my seedlings. It doesn't cover everything, just cover some of the ones I put in the ground, and a few, you know, kind of a few unusual one like the Variegated Maha, and a very good kind of growing M4 one. So it doesn't really cover everything, but yeah. Oh wait, you know, before that, let me show you guys one more, which I have really liked the growth of it. So I'm going to show you guys that before I tune out on this. Okay, so this one I am not sure what it is. I had it labeled as a coconut cream seedling. I doubt that it's a coconut cream seedling because there's 3 plants here. See how huge this one gotten, and there's a bunch of like little, you know, smaller chunks that came out, but these all have not flushed anything that looked like coconut cream. So I might have got the label mixed up. If it's not coconut cream, the other thing I could imagine this being is actually M4, just because of the clones down here. Definitely look like more like M4 growth. But this is a huge vigorous seedling. It's grown huge. Look at the leaves on these. It's like gigantic leaves, you know. These leaves are huge. Just look at this. So it's a very interesting one, and this one is probably a candidate to put in the ground next year. Yeah, very cool one. The trunk is kind of really nice. All right, well, you know, that's it. That's not everything, but that's kind of what I'll have for you guys kind of talking about, at least for this video. All right, thanks everyone.